Hear ye, and welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll. And tonight I am joined by some very good friends of mine. First of all, we have Mr. Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. We also have the one and only Anthony Amato. We like to call him Shamato. And we have a returning star of the podcast, the new kid on the block, Apple Zach's in the building, Zach Markham. Brother, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm great, guys.
You feel good? You feel good? Yeah. All right.
Feel good, man.
Good, man. I'm glad.
Hey, and I got some big news to kind of start off this new episode, boys.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
It is official. We have signed a multi-year contract.
Yep.
It's not really worth much money. With the newest official Royal Geek of the podcast.
Sign him young.
Zach Markham. Welcome to the podcast.
He's been knighted.
Heck yeah, man.
Officially.
Yeah.
It's official.
You know, we've kind of flirted with him for a few weeks. Really.
Yeah.
A few
We
months.
courted him. That's what we did.
Yep.
We courted him.
We courted him.
Yeah, uh-huh.
You know, he slept over a few times, brought an overnight bag.
I've been bringing some gifts too. I've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we are happy to officially announce that Markham is 100% on the podcast team now. So,
Yeah.
Markham, we're glad to have you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah, man.
Welcome to the kingdom.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Indeed. Indeed. I guess it's important to also mention that, not to any fault of his own or our own, but Tyler Sweat will be taking a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast. He's got a lot going on in life. We miss you, Sweat. I hope you're listening still. We will definitely get Sweat back on for some special episodes, but he's just a very busy guy. So
Maybe the busiest guy I've ever seen.
yeah, so we decided to replace him with a better looking young man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Who's that?
We got a younger model.
we haven't found him yet.
yeah, we're still working on it.
We're
Still looking?
Still
I mean,
looking.
what you don't know is that contract that you did not read is actually has a clause in it where you have to get plastic surgery to make you that younger, better looking version.
All right, cool.
One of
I'm
the
in.
big reasons we got you is because of your OnlyFans page.
Do not
Hey,
search. Do not search his OnlyFans.
Don't tell my wife, man. Don't tell my wife. She doesn't know.
Just kidding.
Only because she would want to cut.
She
wants in on the
I'm
action.
gonna-
she thinks that she is my only fan.
All right, I'm going to move us on before we get in some trouble.
Please do. Please.
All right, listen. Big shout out to all of our listeners. We really appreciate. Oh, here we go.
Wow.
Already making mistakes. I literally just hit my microphone. Not that anybody saw that because we are just recording audio, but not for long.
Whoa.
Because some news in the Royal Geek Kingdom here, sometime soon, I don't know exactly when, we're actually going to be having a YouTube channel. So
That's crazy to think about, man.
So just keep that in mind, all of our beloved listeners. We are going to be making a switch to. I mean, we'll still have the podcast version, of course.
Right, of course. All
audio.
the people loyal to
Yeah.
the royal, bro.
Nice.
Let's go.
We'll still have the audio only version, but
Right.
we are going to be moving to video soon, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So if you've ever wondered what we look like, well, you're about to find out.
And you are going to be majorly disappointed. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes,
I was.
You, you will be disappointed.
Listen, you're new here. You don't get to speak when
Hey, you speak when you are spoken to. Okay, Markham.
Okay, all right, my bad. Guys, my bad.
Yeah.
Testing the waters here.
So just some news, yeah, some exciting things. We got a new member, we got a new platform coming soon. So we just want to just give a shout out to all of our listeners who've been tuning in each and every week, who've followed us recently on Instagram. You can follow us at Royal Geek Pod on Instagram.
Yep.
So check that out. We've been posting a lot of content there lately. Big shout out to one of the pod wives.
Oh, yeah.
One of the pod wives.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The Mrs. Sandoval. She's been
Running the page.
she's been killing it for us. So thank you very much to her. And I hope I know the listeners are grateful for it too. So
and Facebook too, man.
and Facebook.
Yeah.
That's right. So you can find us on Facebook,
And believe it or not, there is a Royal Geek Podcast
Twitter.
TikTok
Yeah, go.
page.
Oh, TikTok.
Yeah, there is one.
We have a TikTok
Royal
now.
Geek Pod.
Yeah.
We should have done a little bit more show prep so that I could have been clear on everything.
So
but
so go ahead and take it away and
we've
mention
got
all of our
big stuff
Yeah.
coming, people. All right, we've got a YouTube channel. We've already got a TikTok. Apparently, we got an Instagram.
Yep.
We do, believe it or not, have a Twitter that is still out there.
It's been around for 2 years.
It's been around.
The granddaddy of them all.
That's right, man. Hey, one day it's going to be great. Okay. But yeah, listen, we are exciting times ahead. So just stay tuned. We are about to enter a very busy season for reviewing content.
Yeah.
It all starts next week.
Next week.
With She-Hulk.
Holy crap, man.
Can't wait.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that and a lot of other things. But it's time. What if we just get into the pod for tonight?
Yeah, let's go.
We have
Let's
an
do it.
exciting main topic, which you can skip ahead in the show notes. If you scroll onto the show notes, you can see we put a timestamp in there for when we start talking about the top 5. Excuse me. Well, how do the best way to say it? The worst five. Not the top. The bottom
worst.
5. The 5 worst Marvel movies, non-MCU Marvel movies. We're going to have a fun discussion.
You got that right.
Kind of just crapping on some movies later. You can see that you can scroll down to and see the show notes and skip ahead to that. But first, a little bit of, sometimes we do news to start the podcast. Tonight, we're going to do a few recommendations. So, if there's anything that you guys have been watching lately that you want to recommend to some of our listeners to check out, who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna go first here. And Netflix. We love
heard of it.
Netflix.
I've heard of it.
You guys have heard of it. Yeah. The Sandman has dropped on Netflix. It's been out for about a week now, and the Sandman technically is a DC property, but like by default, like DC kind of just bought it up. But it's based on a graphic novel, The Sandman by Neil Gaiman, and it has been a incredible watch so far. All right, I haven't finished it yet. All right, listen, it's dropped a week ago, and I'm on episode 7, so I have 3 more episodes left. And it's absolutely incredible so far. Episode 5, in my opinion, all right, this may sound like it's an exaggeration, but episode 5 might be the single best episode of television. Like, it is that good. I'm telling you.
That does sound like an exaggeration.
It sounds like some hyperbole there.
And episode 6 is just shy of it. Like, I literally was emotionally torn and invested in this episode 6. Like, it was so good. But episode 5 really had me going.
Wow.
Yes, if you're not watching The Sandman on Netflix right now, then you're missing really, really great television. Like, I'm telling you, it's top tier.
Yeah.
Top shelf,
All right.
top shelf bourbon.
Top shelf bourbon.
Yes.
Neil Gaiman is an elite comic book talent. So, the fact that they would bring something of his to life, I would hope it would be, top tier as well.
Yeah. It's been great.
So I'm going to recommend the show Solar Opposites if you guys haven't seen it yet. It's a show about an alien family that lands on Earth and basically the shenanigans they run into. It's made by one of the creators of Rick and Morty, which is, of course, a phenomenal show, and I think, is worldwide known as probably one of the best adult animation shows on TV right now.
Well, actually, is
yeah,
Spoiler
technically
alert.
it is.
Top animated series on the Royal Geek Podcast.
Ever, of all time.
Of all
Yeah.
time.
Widely regarded as that, too, across the interwebs.
Right, correct.
But yeah, it has some of the similar craziness that goes on in Rick and Morty with their jumping around time and into movies and things like that. And then there's one part of it that it's super fascinating. There's a part it's called The Wall, where it's literally miniaturized humans, and it is some elite television, like legitimately some of the best content that is on the show is about The Wall.
Yeah,
Yes.
I haven't started season 3 yet, but season 1 and 2 they have been surprisingly amazing. Like, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Like, I mean, yes, the creators of Rick and Morty, but I didn't expect it to be up there.
Yeah,
and it's really good television for sure.
Nice. So I guess I'll go next. So I just finished a anime series on Netflix called Vinland Saga. It's about Vikings, which is really weird. So it's got Japanese subtitles and everything. But it takes place with Vikings in around year 1300 and their invasion of England.
Oh yeah,
It's a great revenge story.
The Saxon invasion.
Yep. It is a great revenge story. It ended blissfully. Like, every episode was pretty good. Kept you going to the next.
It gets better and better and better. Like,
does.
It truly does.
Yep.
Each episode builds on the one before it, and it creates just such a beautiful story of revenge.
Correct. Yeah, the fight scenes in there, you could really feel the 100% fight scenes where he's fighting for his life, fighting for something to prove. It gave me a vibe of Sword Art Online, where not before the game ended, but where Kirito was fighting for his life. It had that same style, which I loved.
Yeah.
So it's really good, man. You should check it out.
The action scenes are phenomenal, and it actually has a pretty decent English dub. So if you're not keen on reading the subtitles, the English dub is quite fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
I like the
another
idea.
way?
Yeah,
There's only one way, man.
Yeah, I know that, but some of the others.
Justin's just thinking for the general listener.
The uninitiated. Yeah.
And I like the idea that it interacts with history. Like anything, I mean, I'm a huge history nerd anyway.
Yeah.
But like, I like the fact when shows interact with history and you kind of connect it to like those real world scenarios.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, appreciate you fellas for giving us those recommendations to our listeners. I'm sure our listeners are dying for us to get into our main spotlight of the night. So why don't we turn the page and talk some Marvel? Everyone who listens to this show knows that we love talking Marvel. We love talking Marvel shows, Marvel movies.
It's our cash cow, man.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
But truthfully, we are normally kind of talking about the positives of Marvel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Tonight we're going to do something just a little bit different. We are going to have a fun discussion where we are essentially going to rank the worst Marvel movies of all time outside of the MCU.
Yeah.
So,
So non-MCU Marvel movies.
non-MCU Marvel movies.
So you're not going to see Thor: The Dark World.
or Iron Man 3
Yep.
or Age of Ultron or Endgame. Well, you wouldn't see Endgame anyway.
What?
No.
Okay, hold on a second. No.
Hey man, I'm just playing
Yeah.
around. I'm
So
playing
those
around.
those we're gonna like pretend those don't exist right now.
Yes. So if it happened in the main MCU, the Avengers, universe that we've all fell in love with, it does not count. But everything else is on the table. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And here's what we did. So all of our listeners know. Getting choked up over here. Sorry. We the three of you sent in your top 5 to me.
Yep.
And so I got to see all of them, but you guys have not seen each other's votes. And then I also had a top 5. So I basically did a point system to determine the top 5 for the Royal Geek podcast, okay? And so we're going to start with number 5.
Yes,
The 5th
yes.
worst non-MCU Marvel movie. You guys ready for it?
Bring
not,
it
not
on.
really. No, I don't want to relive this.
It's one of the newer ones.
Oh, okay.
It's called The New Mutants,
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
which we
I'm
did a
gonna
The
review.
say-
old
yes,
one that
hold
we
on.
did a pod on, probably.
Yeah, we did a pod on this.
Yes, we did.
When it came out. When did it come out again?
It was
2021?
2020.
Yeah,
it was 2020,
because that was the first movie that we went to when after the movies went opened
Open
back
back up from COVID. Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't we do Tenet before that though? Or no, maybe we did New
No,
Mutants first. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Mutants.
I think you're
that we did
right.
First.
I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah. And
the
there was like
following
5
week
people in the
was
theater.
Tenet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were masked up, right, guys?
Yep.
Yes, I think we were.
We were. Yeah.
I think we
so.
were. I honestly can't remember. I'm not trying to make a joke about that, but that's a failed joke. Anyways, New Mutants. The movie sucked. What do you guys think about it?
It was truly terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
I will say, you know what? I'm going to start off with like one positive thing about this crappy movie.
Okay, let's hear it.
And the positive thing is that they're never going to make it again. There's no sequel to this. There's nothing coming out of this. It truly was a bad movie. The CGI even was terrible. Like the giant bear.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not forget about the giant
Forgot
bear.
about the giant bear.
Yeah.
But Anya Taylor-Joy's character, let's see. I don't know where to start. Like, I feel like some parts of her performance kind of like I was like, okay, yeah, she's doing a good job. But then like by the end of her performance, I was like, okay,
Just kind of annoyed
mostly.
mostly.
I was very annoyed with the character.
Yeah, her. Okay, the
She's
worst
fantastic
part.
actress
The worst
now.
part
Like,
about that is
yeah.
she was still the best part of the movie.
True.
Like that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how uneven a performance she had. She had by far the best fight scenes that we saw in there,
Yes.
and it was an uneven performance by her. I felt like they wasted a lot of like opportunities in it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know as soon as I saw Maisie Williams' character in like the first couple like minutes of her, and I was like, uh-oh.
It was
Like,
cringy. It was
I
cringy,
like,
wasn't
yes,
it?
it was bad.
Oh.
Like I was like, this. I usually, I love Maisie Williams. I've loved her in Game of Thrones, and I loved her in her parts in Doctor Who. And so, like, I was thinking that this was going to be, at least if I don't enjoy the rest of the movie, like she would be a part that I would enjoy. But when we watched it, I was like, this isn't good. She is maybe the worst part of the movie.
I think you
Just is
might
very
be right.
sad.
Yeah.
Like it is,
It's pretty bad.
It's rough.
I will say too, man. Like I feel like year 2020 and like into 2019 and maybe even going into like year 2021, it was just a really awkward time for like movies to be released. Like,
Well, the thing
I-
is,
I feel-
they've been holding it for like what 2 years?
Yeah, it was like 2
It
years.
was delayed. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
but
right.
I mean, you got to think about how many movies got pushed back. I know a lot of movies got like re-edited.
Right.
I feel like they could have done a lot better if they would have released it at a different time.
See, there was a story in there. Like there was actually a good story in that movie, but they just
didn't
like
execute.
they didn't execute. They went the far direction. Like they went in a completely different
one of the
direction.
best parts that they messed up was the whole idea that the entire movie they were talking about, like inside a person, there's the good bear and the bad bear, basically.
Right, yeah.
I don't remember exactly if that's the term they used or not, but then they only had one bear when it came up. Like they should have had the final fight scene, like her manifesting a good bear to fight the bad bear and have it literally be a physical representation of her inner struggle.
Correct.
And then have, either one side defeat the other side and, her character fall into the good side or the bad side, depending on how that turned out.
Yep.
So just so you guys know, we reviewed this early on. You can actually search the archives of our show if you can find it. I mean, it was so long ago that you might not even find it, but good luck. RGP episode 14.
14. Whoa,
wow.
We released it on August 29th, so almost 2 years ago
Holy crap,
of
man.
2020.
I was just a wee little listener then.
I will say on a very sad note, I just should let you know, if you do go find this archive, you just need to know that was also the night we found out right before the pod. Yeah,
dang,
that was the night we found out that Chadwick Boseman passed.
That is.
So that totally stole the thunder of the show, of the pod, obviously.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
remember that.
Yeah, it was very sad. So don't be surprised if you do go listen to that archive show that, we're going to be talking a lot about Chadwick on it.
Kind of a sad opening.
It was so sad. I mean, I couldn't believe it. We were just scrolling Twitter right before we hit record.
And
Yeah.
there it was.
I know.
Yeah.
Also, in light of kind of doing this ranking, thought I should let you guys know that I did a search for the Rotten Tomatoes score for New Mutants. Anybody want to guess what it was?
14.
Okay.
35.
35?
I'm going to say 7.
Okay. Shamato is actually spot on. It was
Whoa.
35.
Oh.
35. Did you also look?
No.
No.
Okay.
Just
That's impressive.
assume that Shamato never looked at anything because he doesn't. He doesn't.
No.
He's just.
I just know.
The audience score was higher.
Yeah.
The audience score was 56, which a lot of times with superhero movies, it's like that.
Yeah, it's always like that.
But yeah, not a good movie. 35.
Trust me, it was not a good movie at all.
It just really wasn't. Like nothing really drew you in. Like
Yeah.
I mean, there were little moments, but it was just nothing. I never really felt like I would have missed it if I hadn't watched the movie.
Maybe for the first 12 minutes of the movie, it was actually good. But then the remaining hour and 40 minutes, it was just straight.
And then just the
trash.
one fight scene that you had with Anya Taylor-Johnson's character. That was like the one, like later in the movie, that was like the one time where you actually were like, this is a relatively cool fight scene.
Yeah. It was just a lot of lazy acting. And if there's one thing that draws me further away, is just the actor's not involved in what they're doing. Because if they're not connected with what they're doing, then why would I be?
For sure.
Great point, man. But I will say, since that movie, Anya Taylor-Joy has gone into a direction of she's approaching elite status as actress.
I mean,
right now.
she's been killing it
Yeah.
since then. Which
Oh,
it's really
Last night in
really
Soho,
odd.
she was phenomenal. Last night in Soho, and the Northman, Markham, dude,
she
Northman,
killed it.
yeah,
She killed it, dude.
phenomenal.
Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit. Oh man, top show.
Yeah.
Top shelf.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, guys. You want to move on to number 4?
I'm a little scared actually.
Okay,
but,
the fourth.
Bring it on.
The fourth ranked worst non-MCU movie. It's a mouthful right there. We're on to number 4, and it's a number 3. Spider-Man 3 in
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right.
So Sam Raimi, right?
Sam Raimi. Yep.
Yes.
The final part of his trilogy, of his Spider-Man trilogy.
Yep.
Spider-Man 3 is number 4 on our list. Cue the awkward dance moves.
Ooh. Oh man.
I mean-
emo Peter Parker.
Yeah, Peter Parker it really killed the movie. The two biggest parts that probably killed the movie were that and the fact that they just tried to jam too many villains down our throat.
Yeah.
Which is an issue that multiple Spider-Man movies have actually had.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing with this movie wasn't the fact that there was that awkward emo scene. It wasn't the fact that they tried to shove so many villains down your throat and they had no idea what the plot was going to be, or you were kind of lost in the plot. But it was the fact that they had Topher Grace from that 70s show as Venom.
As Venom.
Like, that was a horrible decision. Like, what are you guys doing, man?
See, the worst thing about that is that, yes,
it works. It makes sense that you would actually have him countered by Tobey Maguire.
Well, no. What the worst part is that not only did Topher Grace lead to a terrible Spider-Man 3, but it ruined a potential phenomenal conclusion for Eric Foreman on the 70s show because of his contract obligations with Spider-Man 3, he couldn't fully commit to the 70s show, and except for that very last episode. He was able to come film his final farewell episode, but he missed like
that last season.
That entire last season. It's rough.
Show.
It is bad. Yeah. And Donna and Eric's storyline did not get it. The
Spider-Man 3 is so bad that it ruined a show.
Yes.
Ruined a completely different show. Wow. Yeah. But and it was like, I think part of it is I don't know who you could have cast. Like, it would have been hard to cast somebody that would have been believable on the opposite side, because basically the way they were playing it up was Venom has to be like the other side of the coin in this situation to who Spider-Man is. And if you chose somebody like, Tom Hardy, are you really going to believe Tom Hardy is the opposite side of the coin of Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So you kind of were almost a little bit pigeonholed into who you could cast in some ways, I think. So a less believable version of Venom because of the fact that, like I've always said, I feel like Tobey Maguire was a good Peter Parker, but not necessarily the greatest Spider-Man.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. And just the way they did Venom, just the way that Venom looked, I feel like it was too far away from the comic book accurate. Like, this is me being like the comic books are better type of deal. Like, this is probably the only instance I'll come hard on. Like, you have to make Venom look like Venom. Like, he looked too much like Spider-Man, like the thin stature. Like, he wasn't like the overbearing, the overpowering menace that Venom actually is. Sure, give Topher Grace sharp teeth. Okay, cool, except it looked lame as crap.
Oh, it did.
Like, it was very bad.
It was really dumb.
I mean, also the fact that just Topher Grace just doesn't have that, like, in him.
Yeah.
Like, I could
he
not...
doesn't have the bravado to
like he can
make that role.
He could not be physically imposing if his life depended on it.
And the thing about that is, too, man, is like, so even though he doesn't have the bravado, like, even with his acting in that movie, he wasn't even trying to be. Like, he was like this low self-esteem, like, made a joke out of everything. Like, it was the complete opposite of what, like, your typical Venom Ultra Alias would be. Like, there was no, like, Macho Man or anything like that. It was all just jokes.
And it was supposed to be like Topher Grace's like coming out party where he was going to be the next like big thing. Yeah. And it honestly did the opposite.
Yeah, where's he been since?
Yeah, there's
it completely buried him. Man.
Yeah,
it was bad.
And here's what's even worse about it is, and I know I'm privileged to the information, the rest of the list here. More so this movie than any other. It came after 2 really good films.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right. What
a letdown.
Yeah. Spider-Man 2 is like people argue that that may be the best comic book movie, but like
Spider-Man 2 is the greatest sequel of all time, right?
Not only is it like the greatest movie, it's also got the greatest video game to the movie.
That's
okay.
True.
All right.
Yes.
I will. Yeah. I will.
That's good.
I'll concede to that. That
dude,
video game is so amazing.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. However, The Dark Knight is easily the best sequel of all time. Anyway,
I was just messing around.
Okay.
I was actually thinking of Empire Strikes Back, but
no. Okay.
I was thinking about video games.
If we're keeping it superhero,
I was trying to get
Terminator 2.
Oh, okay.
Ted Lasso season 2.
Wow.
It is the Empire Strikes Back though.
A little bit of
right.
a dark horse would be for me in the comic book realm would be X-Men: Days of Future Past. I feel like that was an elite sequel as well.
Hey, speaking of X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Oh, okay.
Let me talk about the 3rd worst non-MCU movie on our list.
All right.
It's not X-Men Days of Future Past, just to put you at ease, Shamato.
I mean, I literally had no
doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I figured, Anyways, but it did come in the same universe, and I think if I'm thinking correct, just 2 movies later.
Oh,
Number
gosh.
3 on our list, if my timeline is correct, is the Dark Phoenix movie.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. All right. I got some things to say. Okay, it was definitely on my top 5 worst for
Yeah.
sure. Here's the thing. All right. Sophie Turner had an opportunity. Like she was great as Jean Grey in Apocalypse. I thought she was spot on with her character, and she had about 20 minutes in Dark Phoenix where she was like, I was like, holy crap, she's really gonna do it. She's gonna be like the Phoenix from the comic books. Like the Phoenix from the animated series. Like she's gonna truly do it. And then after that 20 minutes, is she just completely like. The whole entire movie itself, like, just fell apart, and it was a rough train wreck to just what was going on. It was bad. It was just terrible.
Yeah.
Every aspect of that movie was terrible.
Yeah, I think Sophie Turner. The issue with her is I feel like she's a supporting actor. Like she is not a leading lady material, unfortunately for herself. Like there were moments in Game of Thrones where she had some elite moments in Game of Thrones, and like you said, she was very solid in Apocalypse, but those were in shorter bursts. And I think
they were
like
You're right.
what she like. I think it comes down to what she able to carry an entire movie, and I think in Dark Phoenix she kind of showed, and in the way that
T-Roll coming in with the facts.
yeah. And with the way that she has come out after that with other movies, I think we've kind of seen that she isn't really necessarily leading lady material.
Yeah.
So there is that, but the other thing that I felt like was going against this movie is the fact that Miss Marvel was coming out not too far behind it. So like a lot of the plot and everything where like she was corrupted by like cosmic powers.
I mean, Captain Marvel, right?
Captain Marvel, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
just
sorry.
making sure.
Yeah, not Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel, sorry. There was a lot of similarities. So I heard this movie got heavily like edited.
Yeah.
So I don't know what a lot of that original cut was or what content was in it. Like, there's no telling.
Yeah,
There
because
were a ton of reshoots.
yeah,
in this movie.
towards the end of
how much was how much was their heart in it? Like really, because it was kind of at the tail end of the X-Men Fox, universe.
Yeah, it was the final one before the buyout, and honestly, like Jennifer Lawrence, she was just tied into the contract, and she honestly phoned this role in, and in Apocalypse, like she phoned that role in, and she was off winning Oscars, and she wanted out of the X-Men series, but she signed a contract for 5 movies, I believe is what it was, and she was forced to do it.
Yeah, this was very much towards the end of Fox's control over the X-Men series. And I'm trying to think back, like, because I don't remember when the news first broke that Disney was going to be acquiring Fox. I think it was maybe around this time.
It was during the lead up promotion.
Yeah,
to the
maybe
movie,
not when they started filming, of course, but it didn't help that once this movie came out, we had known that Disney was about to acquire Fox, and it's like similarly with New Mutants. It's like, man, it's just like you don't care about it.
No,
because
you're right.
it doesn't matter.
It won't lead to anything. Yeah, you won't get the payoff that it should have.
It's kind of like a lame duck movie. It's like there's nothing that's going to happen. Like you don't really have any connection.
It's there just to be there.
Yeah, it's literally just being put out there to
make some money.
Yeah, make some money, and
yeah. It's just a very unfortunate movie.
Yeah. And that's the sad thing too, man, because like a lot of these movies like on this list, I guarantee you like the majority of them is either going to be made by Fox or Sony.
Yeah.
And like I feel like both companies know that they're not going to be what Disney is. Like Disney takes these stories and they make it into something pretty incredible. Not all of them are bangers, but the majority of them like are very, very good, very well written.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well
said.
I think in light of that, maybe I should share the Rotten Tomatoes score,
please,
for Dark Phoenix.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna guess it's single.
All right, yeah,
single digit.
Go guesses. You go
single
first.
digit.
Okay.
So 9 or less.
12.
Okay. 12. Shimada.
I'm gonna say 27.
27.
If he's right again, I'm gonna flip this.
You
table
said
over.
12, Markham.
I did say 12.
Justin said 9.
Yeah.
Did you say 9
I said
earlier?
anything
too?
less than 10.
But didn't you say 9 earlier as well?
No.
Oh, I thought you said 9 earlier. Okay. Well, Shimada is once again closest. He's not right this time. but he is closest at 22. Shimano said 27. Dark Phoenix got a 22, which I'm just going to let you know. That ain't good.
No,
That's bad.
That is really
Yeah,
bad.
that's pretty bad.
The audience score, once again, higher, 64.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I didn't mention this about Spider-Man 3. I did the numbers on Spider-Man 3 as well. The Rotten Tomatoes score was 63. But the audience score was 51. You don't oftentimes see
the audience went the best.
was lower.
There was a
I
lot
mean,
of hype behind that movie.
Yeah,
There was
a lot of
ton
hype, and I feel like that scene has become so iconically bad
Yeah.
that we all like. I just
Correct.
say that
Even
scene,
Sony made fun of it
like,
themselves.
yes, like
in the Spider-Verse movie.
that it's become popular to just dog on it, and
for sure.
that leads to that.
Yeah.
I will say though, I am glad that Tobey Maguire and Thomas Hayden Church were able to come back like 15 years later to get like a
Redeem themselves.
Yeah.
The redemption
retribution.
tour. Yeah. Good shout, man.
Well said. Well said. Shall we move on to number 2?
I'm terrified.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
you
terrified.
should be.
Yeah.
I think everyone was supposed to be scared of this character, but instead we were just scared of seeing the movie. Number 2 on the top 5 worst non-MCU Marvel movies, the newest to the bunch, Morbius.
Whoa, Morbius?
Yeah.
Wow.
Morbius.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
That's so recent, man.
It is
Yep.
recent.
very
Yep.
recent.
Listen,
Recent
this
and
movie
bad.
this movie was so bad that I didn't actually watch it.
Yeah,
Dude, you stole my line, man. I was literally gonna say that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, I didn't watch it either. Like it
Wow.
flopped. I feel like this movie.
So wait a minute, Shimano. Wait a minute, Shimano. Are you
Shimano definitely watched
the
it,
only
right?
one
I
that watched it?
I mean, I 100% watched it.
Yeah.
And it was just boring, and I feel like the entire movie they were trying to... I feel like Jared Leto was trying to win an Oscar, but, like, no one was telling him how bad he actually was.
Oh no!
Like, and it just came off just boring and kind of terrible. Like, it felt like it was a movie potentially made for, like, TV. Like, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's a...
like from a acting and like performances and things like that. Like the CGI was relatively good, but like the actual acting and the story were just flops. Matt Smith was barely, he was nothing as his villain role in it. And
Didn't he have a dance scene in there?
yes, he did.
Okay. So we have a common theme here. We have,
If you have a dance scene.
Yeah, we don't like people who dance. Apparently,
it's not just us. It's not just the Royal Geek Podcast. It's the general public.
Yeah.
Well said. Wasn't this movie so bad? Like it was they took it out of theaters, but then people begged
Petitioned
for
it
it.
Well,
back.
no. Here's the thing. Here's the story with that one. Okay, so like there was a meme going around, like it's Morbin time, like Morbius.
Yeah.
Go,
Like,
go, Power
yeah,
Rangers.
essentially, yes. And so that meme was going around so much, where Sony was trying to capitalize and trying to make
Yeah.
more money off of it, that they put it back in theaters.
And then they lost money.
No. They put it back in theaters and then added a line in there to where Morbin time was actually said in the movie.
oh, that's rough.
Yeah. And
I think-
that's the story behind that.
I think this just goes to prove like Sony cannot survive like without
its
Disney.
own.
Yeah,
Without
on
the
its own.
guidance.
Without help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like they just can't. Like every movie, the majority of the movies they make, dude, is
Well,
just
it's crazy
bad.
though because they can.
they choose not to.
They just can't make good movies on their own.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna survive just because of PlayStation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Sony's
Sure.
not going anywhere, but in terms of like if what you're saying is like making quality movies, you're spot on.
Yeah.
Like they have proved over and over and over again, unless the movie has Marvel Studios help or it's animated,
Yeah.
they just
They can't do it.
yeah, because
Yeah.
like even if you make a good Venom movie, it's like the follow up movie sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
dude.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of it's just disappointing.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, who wants to take a guess on the Rotten Tomato score for Morbius?
13.
Shimano says 13.
I'm actually going to say like 23.
Justin says 23.
Yeah, 23.
38.
Markham says 38. Markham went pretty high. Shimano is undefeated today.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
dude, what the
How
heck?
can, how can this be?
Marvel,
He's
said,
a wizard,
He said
Harry.
13. Shimano said 13. It's actually 16. So Shimano was the closest.
Wow.
Wow.
Shimano was definitely the closest once again.
Shimano.
So
Shimano.
just to be clear, if Dark Phoenix with the 22 is bad, Morbius with the 16 is really bad.
Really
Yeah.
bad.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So, but the audience score, of course, was higher.
38.
Is it in the 60s?
It's not in the 60s.
I'm gonna say it's like a 45.
Oh, okay. No, it's probably in the 70s.
Justin says 70s. Markham says 38 still.
Yep, 38.
It is in the 70s. So Justin,
Oh my
Wow.
goodness!
yeah.
What is with like
71.
the viewers?
That is
71.
rough.
It's got to be Twilight fans,
Yeah, 'cause
man.
here's the thing.
It's got to be
No,
Twilight fans.
dude, this is like I don't
Well, this
know.
has to be like people who are just like Jared Leto truthers and just, just go and watch anything that he does and love him in it. Or they're all 30 Seconds to Mars fans. That's
Yeah,
what it
dude.
is.
Which I do love 30 Seconds to Mars. Not
It
gonna
is.
lie.
It's good. It's the only thing that Jared Leto is good at.
Requiem for a Dream was a good movie.
He's had some
Dallas
good,
Buyers Club.
He's had some good
yeah,
movies.
he's
had
he's
some
a
good
he's,
movies, yeah.
he is a very talented person.
He is extremely talented.
Yes.
Yes.
I just think that he has a little bit too big of his own head because he is so talented potentially.
Okay, yeah.
And he gets into like these roles, and I feel like he thinks he's making an Oscar every time he's making it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just not.
Yes, just go be a
Yeah,
vampire,
you're
man,
right.
you know?
He reminds me
just-
a lot of Ryan Gosling.
What? How so? What do you mean?
They just have the same personality, dude. Like in my head, just like very
listen. The Gosman is
Ken. His name is Kendall.
Kendall. No. He's. I can't agree with that statement. I don't. I completely disagree.
They have the exact same personality.
Listen,
just nonchalant.
Blade
man.
Runner
Just
2049 was phenomenal, and yes, he was nonchalant in that movie. However, that he killed it. He was phenomenal. He played that role to perfection.
What was it because of him, or it had a better director?
The director was fantastic.
All right,
Yes,
okay.
but
All
We're
right,
not going to
all
argue
right.
about this now. We
Okay.
got enough bad movies to talk about right here.
yes, yes.
All right. So we're going to move on to number one on the list.
Okay.
Now, originally we were going to pause and do honorable mentions, but then it dawned on me, you guys don't know everyone else's list. So if if there is a scenario where one of you guys might recommend an honorable mention that is actually our number one, so we should probably just do our number one and then come back to honorable mentions. At the same time, number one is so bad that I feel dirty talking about it, and we're probably going to have to just turn the pod off right away.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Iron Man 3. Wait, no. You said
Yeah.
non-MCU, right? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, officially, number one.
It's so bad that we have actually decided to kick it out of the MCU just so we can dog on it.
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3.
No.
It's
okay.
not Iron Man 3.
Sorry. My bad.
We do hate Iron Man 3 in this pod.
I hate Iron Man 3.
It's terrible.
Number one non-MCU Marvel movie of all time is so bad that it's the only movie that was on all four of our lists.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's going to surprise anyone when I say it,
It won't. No.
but it is the Fantastic Four movie from 2015.
Yep.
The fact that I'm talking about this movie right here, right now,
Let's do it.
in 2022, it sucks. I hate doing this. So here's my biggest thing with this movie. All right, the cast was phenomenal.
Correct.
Exactly.
It
That's
was
exactly what I was going to say is like you look at the
stellar,
bodies of
yeah.
work of them
Individually,
outside
these
of this
people.
one
Yeah.
movie, and you're like, how do they all come together to make something so bad?
How do you fail? Like,
What?
for example, let's start with like the least tiered person on here. I would say it's Kate Mara.
Yeah.
Okay. Kate Mara is Invisible Woman. Okay.
Yeah.
She's coming off of like House of Cards, which was
Yes.
phenomenal, fantastic, like incredible, and like her role in season 1 of House of Cards was
Yeah.
phenomenal, right? And she's coming off of that.
Yeah, and
right?
and other than that, she's been like solid actress in
She has been,
movies here and
yeah.
there. She was, I mean, it may have been just an action flick, but like
Yeah.
Shooter, she was pretty good in Shooter and things
Right,
like that.
exactly.
But yeah, like I don't get how you are,
I would say the next tiered actor would be Jamie Bell. Would you say that?
yeah.
So Jamie Bell has been in some quality content.
Yeah.
All right. His underrated role
Snowpiercer?
in Snowpiercer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will also say that in the TV series Turn. I believe it was on AMC. I believe.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Absolutely incredible.
Great.
But yet he turns in this I don't know whatever this dog pile of crap is.
Yeah.
That he's in this.
It was
as
bad.
a-
It
as
also
a
just
thing.
doesn't make sense.
It's bad.
It
It's
also
terrible.
just doesn't make sense. Is the thing.
No.
Just like I'm sorry, but like he's supposed to be a relatively like either like an old school like wrestler type of guy or like a built guy. He isn't supposed to be an average size guy.
Correct. Yeah, I remember seeing his role like in that movie and just thinking like, "What the heck is this?
Yeah.
Like, who am I watching right now? Because it's not him.
Yeah.
Like it's not him."
And honestly, like the CGI when he became Thing was not even that good. Like it
It
really
wasn't.
wasn't. It was a struggle, to be honest, to like watch it on screen. Like I wanted to look away. I really did.
Yeah.
Especially the one scene where he's like literally a pile of rocks, and then he like kind of like lifts his shoulders up and he like forms himself into like the Thing. Like it was very, very hard to watch.
The 1994 version did better.
Yeah, honestly, the styrofoam suit I think turned out better than this CGI.
Yep.
And then next tier is Miles Teller, which right now he is like
He's super.
He's a gold mine, dude.
yeah, exactly.
He's literally a
is
gold mine.
stealing everything. Like Top Gun Maverick, like he was one of the best parts about
he's
the movie.
the entire reason why people are growing mustaches right now.
Exactly.
Yep.
I've seen way too many mustaches around, especially being around a university campus. Like all these college guys with their mustaches.
Yep.
All the frat bros.
Exactly. Phenomenal. But
and before that, Whiplash.
yes,
So good in Whiplash.
One of the best movies I've seen in Whiplash.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal, absolutely. And he was a large portion of that. Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yep.
And then the I guess I would say for me the final tier list would be Michael B. Jordan, which honestly, if he puts out anything right now, it doesn't miss.
It's
like
gold.
this dude is like Creed. The Creed franchise is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
He puts
Killmonger.
Yeah, exactly. Anything he puts out, like I'm looking forward to. I am glued to whatever it is. Like even the Amazon series Without Remorse, I was like right there. I was right there with it.
It wasn't like the greatest movie, but he made it like bearable.
He made it viewable. Yeah,
for sure.
It's because of whatever X factor he has.
Do you think that because just the nature, like despite all these actors being good, like high quality actors, just the nature of what the Fantastic Four is, and it's like it is truly an ensemble. Like it didn't allow any of them to shine.
Do you feel like they were too individual? Like their actor, like them as actors.
But like if you put almost any of them in their own thing, that's like they're gonna drag it to success.
Yeah.
But when they're in an ensemble piece, plus
good point.
There was just so many things going against them in this movie.
It was.
I mean, it was just this movie is so bad.
I mean, just the fact that you can just tell by the fact that they were up against their rights when they were doing it, when they made the movie. So you knew they were just going to push out whatever they could. They weren't going to really worry about quality. They were just worried about making sure we kept this entity on our payroll.
Get
basically.
that money.
Get that money. Get that money.
Get that money.
And it also was just like like they went too long into the origin of everything. It was like it should have probably been like the first half an hour of the movie was the first like 2 hours.
Like this terrible movie has something in common with a few other terrible movies, is that like the first 15, 20 minutes, there is a good story there. Like there's something that you can like latch onto and kind of like, okay, like I'm into this movie. And then just after that, this is like the biggest like hard nosedive out of all the terrible movies. Is like once that first 15 minutes hit, it is like a nonstop like downhill plummet of just bad.
Yeah, dude. And like I don't understand how you could spend so long like building an origin story and like it still be crap at the end. And there was no plot. Like there was absolutely like no plot and no meaning by the time they got to the end of the movie. And like and even though they had all these like good actors and like good lineup, in my opinion, like the worst actor that they had casted was Toby Kebbell as Dr. Doom.
Yes. Okay.
Like that was garbage, dude.
Listen.
Poor pick again.
Doctor Doom is one of the best villains in Marvel comic book history.
Yeah.
Like one of the best.
Correct.
And he may or may not be introduced into the MCU in the coming movies. Which speculation is that he's going to be in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yep.
And if that's the case, like I think MCU,
that would be,
if they fail on this, and we have this like back to back failure of Doctor Doom's character, it's going to be devastating
rough
because he is one of the like powerhouse
elite
villains that you would have to gather a team around to face. Like that's how menacing he is. Yeah.
He should be on that level of like when you're thinking about villains in the MCU, you should be thinking of him, you should be thinking of Magneto, you should be thinking of like people like Thanos, you should be thinking about like the big tier
Kang,
people,
somebody
Kang, Yeah, so
Somebody like Ultron could have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like something along those lines. Like that's how you should think about Doctor Doom. But because it's already failed twice, we don't think of him that way at the moment.
Yep.
Is it or at least as a general
Well
group
said.
of people?
Yeah, like if you're a guy like myself who didn't read comic books, like I have never experienced like Doctor Doom in a positive way.
Wow.
Think about that. Think about that.
Sad.
And there's a lot of people like me out there.
Yeah, dude. We
Yeah,
have
you're
not
right.
been getting Doctor Doom. We've been getting like Nurse Doom.
RN Doom. RN Doom. Yeah. That's what
All
we're
right. Are you guys ready for
He's Doctor Dismay.
No.
Are you guys ready for the Rotten Tomatoes score on the Fantastic Four for
This one
2015?
I feel like this one is single digits.
Okay, let's
I'm gonna
take a
say
guess.
6.
6.
Shoot. Shimano's in the single digits. Okay. 9. I'm going with
9.
9 again. Yeah.
7.
7. Shimano, you are no longer perfect on the night, my friend.
It's me, man. It's got to be me.
It's actually Justin. It is 9.
Shoot.
Spot on.
Oh my gosh.
So let that sink in.
I'm sorry. I accidentally turned my number upside down.
Okay, fair enough. We'll
knew
give it
this
to you.
would happen.
Benefit of the
Back
doubt.
off, man. Give me my win. Okay.
I just want all of our listeners to just
Yeah.
pause for a moment. Just pause. Whether you like Rotten Tomatoes as a base or not, when checking out movies and their scores, just pause for a moment, close your eyes, and think about the fact that 7 years ago, in 2015, Fox created a Marvel movie that scored a 9 out of 100
Yeah.
on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's this movie.
Yeah. If you want to grasp how low that is, start at 100 and start counting down all the way into 9.
Yeah. 4 minutes later, you'll get to number
Yep.
9. I mean, it's 9.
Just think of how terrified you would be if you had to take a math test home when you were a kid and you got a 9.
Dude, so bad. And like the audience score, again, it is higher because a lot of times they usually are, but it ain't that much higher.
Is it like 20?
It's 18.
Ooh.
It's 18.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another one of those things where just like it has fallen into the zeitgeist of just being like, just word dog on it.
Now-
like, no matter if you've seen it or
Right.
not, you hate it.
Now, I do want to put this out there. If there is a listener out there that truly is fond of this movie, please reach out to one of our social media platforms, whether it's Instagram.
Hit us up on Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Let us
Yeah.
know why you like it.
Yes, please.
You
'Cause
know?
I would love to have that conversation because
Yep.
there is a movie there. However, it just dies.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that like just negatively impacts this movie is that it was supposed to be like a redemption from the 2004 version,
Which was also
Which-
not good.
Correct.
it was
yeah.
wasn't good, but it was at least better than this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it had the vibe, it had the colorful aspect of
Yes.
like the comic books.
Yeah.
It, like
Like,
everything
even-
was there.
Even
Everything
the
was
uniforms. The uniforms were much
there. Yeah,
closer.
they- correct.
Well, I think what they tried to do is they tried to do what like some of
Too
the MCU has
realistic?
done. Yes,
Yeah.
and in some of the things that have and that may have gotten affected by something like the Dark Knight franchise, where it went to that everybody was trying to go like ultra realistic at that point, whereas in 2004 it was still. We can play with it a little bit, being in a more comic book related
Right.
uniform or stylistically was still considered okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And like the thing about it is like when they made the 2015 version, like the redemption of the 2004 version wasn't even the best movie. Like the best movie was The Rise of the Silver Surfer. So I think they had that expectation.
But just barely.
Barely, but it was better.
Yes.
So I think they had that expectation going into it, and it just flopped. It just
Yeah.
absolutely flopped.
And it's infamously known as like Fan Four Stick, right?
Yes.
Like that's like because
That's
they
literally-
don't
that's
they don't
literally how I
actually say
texted.
Fantastic Four. They don't actually say Fantastic Four in that movie, but
Yeah.
like when Miles Teller drops the line like Fantastic, like when he drops that line in the movie, like it's so cringe worthy.
Yeah.
It is so like.
I think
bad.
we should do a fun jester review of this movie sometime.
Yeah, break it down scene by scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just feel
I'd rather
gross.
do like 1,000 other things besides that. But if we
just
we
to make
must.
fun of it. Just to make fun of
Yeah.
it.
Oh, so bad, man.
Yep.
So bad.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the top 5 worst non-MCU Marvel movies. Really fun. Yeah. pour one out for these awful movies. Any movies that didn't make the list that you just kind of want to throw out there? Just, we don't have to talk about them. Just like name drop a few.
Yeah, Elektra with Jennifer Garner.
Yep, I was on my list.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Elektra was on there. It was not only, I think part of it was just the fact that it was a bad movie to follow up a bad movie.
Yeah.
So it was like a bad idea on top of a bad idea.
Yeah, and Daredevil.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also on there.
Daredevil, yeah.
Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah.
Just a goofy movie, man. Just a really goofy movie. Like, just forced comedy. The part where the kid's like, what happens when you pee, like, while you're flamed up? It's like, you become a flamethrower. Like, come on,
I
dude.
forgot about that one.
What are you doing?
Wow.
Yeah.
And then X-Men Origins, Wolverine.
Yes.
That did so
That
many
was my
things.
number one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, my
Was your
goodness.
number one? Sorry, I didn't make the list.
It was my number one. Largely, it may have not even been the worst movie, but it was the fact that it took a fantastic character
Deadpool,
and
right?
literally negated the best part about him.
Well, listen. Okay, you say it took the best character, right? But not only did it take the best character, but it took the best character and the second best, like Gambit and Deadpool.
Yes.
And I don't know what the heck they did with both those characters, but
they were not good.
not good at all.
Yeah.
No.
Like, how do you make Deadpool not able to talk?
And even the CGI of Wolverine's claws was a significant downgrade from even previous movies. And you know what? A fun fact for the gentleman sitting in here in the room. I hate to say this, but the person who was responsible for like the lead of the claw design of the CGI attended the university that we went to.
Whoa.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we get them kicked out?
I did not know that.
Yes. So there's a fun fact for you.
Wow. Disappointing.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, like it felt like it probably should have been a TV movie. Like, I felt like even the way that it was promoted and everything about it, it just felt like it was. It felt like they were about to lose something. Like they were just like, we're gonna rush this out. I don't know exactly what was happening at that time for them. Like, were they about to run out of some sort of rights on something, and they were just like, maybe they were running out of the rights on Gambit or Deadpool at that point, and they were just like, we just have to get these characters out there. But it just was, there was just a lot of. It just didn't feel like they were trying to make a polished movie when they made it.
Correct.
Although I will say, it has a fantastic opening. I love the through time, him and Sabretooth fighting through the wars.
That was cool.
Going from, once again, I love history. So like seeing them go through their military campaigns as they were going through was actually really cool.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
All right. Yeah, those are some bad movies, boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe another time we'll do a top 5 best movies, non-MCU Marvel movies. Yeah, that could be another pod.
Yeah, there's a lot
for
out
another
there.
time. Yeah, there are some good ones.
I'm just glad we're not in the what if. Like, what if this is the MCU? All these movies we reviewed. It's connected.
Oh gosh, yeah, they get brought in, they get reeled in. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm okay reeling some of them in
What if they make that the second or third season? Or what if they have an episode with, what if the non-MCU movies were MCU?
We get Jennifer Garner running around as Elektra.
Yes.
Yeah.
gosh, I love it.
So bad.
All right, boys, we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah,
big shout out once again to all of our listeners. Soon we'll be able to say our listeners and viewers because we will be starting a YouTube channel soon.
Shocking.
Yeah. Really excited about that. Be on the lookout. Next week, we will be reviewing She-Hulk. The first episode drops this week coming up.
It's here. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Almost here.
Almost.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're like 4
For a
days
second,
away
when
right
you said
now
that,
from
I
the
was
release.
like, you said that, I looked at you, I was like, wait, what? Is it actually here?
Wait, we missed it?
What are we doing? Why are we talking about these terrible movies? So, yeah, be on the lookout. We are going to review She-Hulk here on the pod. We're going to have a lot of fun. A lot of exciting things coming up. So follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us now on TikTok as well, Twitter. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Share it with your friends. It helps us out tremendously. And we eagerly look forward to, being a part of your listening pleasure once more. So now that I made it weird, for my good friends, Sandy, Shamato, and Applezax, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.